Some jamoke was talking about how Democratic policies have failed and said, just look at what a mess New York and California are. And this guy here says, no one brings up New York and Cali faster than people who never been there. Now, the guy who brought it up actually does live in upstate New York, but in typical fashion, he believes all of the problems are down in the New York City area. Whatever, it is what it is. The sentiment is one that I can identify with. For years, I have been talking to people on social media, whether it be in written format on social media platforms where you just write what you have to say, or in video format on social media platforms where you do content audibly and visually. For years, I have been hearing from people who have never once stepped foot inside the city of Chicago, who in all likelihood have probably never even been in the Chicagoland area, tell me what a third world cesspool the city of Chicago is. How it's so dangerous you can't even walk down the street to get a loaf of bread. You step off the plane at O'Hare and you take 4 bullets. People that have never even driven around Chicago, let alone through Chicago, telling me this. While I'm going in and out of the city to get my daughter, move her in and out of her college, my daughter is getting on a fucking L, getting on a bus, hopping in an Uber, going all over the place in the city of Chicago because she goes to college there. While millions of people live, work, and play every single day in the city of Chicago without incident, I always hear from these people about what a fucking subterranean shithole Chicago is, yet they've never been there. And that really speaks the most amount of value. First of all, they're willing to label something that fits with their preconceived notions without ever having seen it for their own 2 eyes. That's the problem to begin with. And secondly, it shows their cowardice, right? These are people that are too afraid to go to the city of Chicago. So in their mind, it must be like what they say. And what's really ironic is that they get fed this line of bullshit by conservatives, far right-wing conservatives, who do what? Visit Chicago. Donald Trump has a fucking building in the city of Chicago, right along the Chicago River. You know who used to hang out in Chicago all the time? Charlie Kirk. Used to go to Cubs games all the time. Nick Fuentes, that little Groiper sack of shit, he lives in Berwyn, right outside the city of Chicago. Literally the first or second suburb, depending on the way you look at it, right outside the city of Chicago in the near west suburbs. People are forever fed a line of shit about places that they've never been to. New York, California, Chicago, and they believe it because they need it to be true.